Hey guys, it's Max Calandrillo. Today we have a stacked panel. We have two high-level debates coming on, and we've got a co-host, the Spit Bucket podcast as well, JJ Solomon. This is going to be a great match of debates. I'm really excited for it, and I'm glad you guys are all tuning in. So before anything, let's get some quick introductions from everyone. Start off with my co-host, JJ Solomon from the Spit Bucket podcast. Tell us quickly a little bit about yourself, about the sport, how you're involved, and why you're here.
Spit Bucket Podcast. My name's JJ. I'm a 40-year-old dude from Dallas who's loved boxing since I was a teeny tiny baby. Just went solo. So if you're looking for a new podcast, we always going to talk boxing, but also talking fatherhood, marriage, mental health, just some man shit that we need to talk about. So yeah, give us a follow, and I appreciate you having me on, Max.
Most definitely. We're really glad to have you as a co-host. You competed in the last round against Billionaire, had a tremendous match that went to overtime, and you really earned your stripes there. So we're glad to have you involved once again. We've got Billionaire Boxing TV. Thank you once again for coming on. You'll be competing today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, why you're here, etc.
Yo, this is BBTV. You can follow me on all platforms, Billionaire Boxing TV. And I just like boxing. I just want to talk boxing today. So let's talk some boxing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on. We've got How Boxing Works, the man himself. He didn't get to debate last time due to technicality, but he advances and he's here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do for the sport, and why you're here.
Sounds good. Nice to meet you guys. My name is Elijah. I'm the owner of How Boxing Works. I'm a boxing reporter. I still work full time, so I do it pretty much in my free time, tweet about boxing and cover fights, go to events as press. Um, I have a podcast on Apple Podcasts called How Boxing Works, where we go over a different topic every week and just break down upcoming fights, potential matchups, and sometimes interviews. And most recently, I just released a documentary titled Cursed Legacy. It's about the murder investigation of Arturo Gotti Jr. It's available right now only on X. I posted it on YouTube, but the music in it got it taken down for copyright. So I would like to make it a continuing series. I'm working directly with the Gotti family, Versace Gotti, Gianni Gotti, Sofia Gotti. Have basically trusted me with sharing this story. I'm doing this by myself. I have little editing experience, just my own content on X. So any help I can get from anybody, I appreciate it. So thank you.
Tremendous. Yeah, make sure everyone to tune into what he's doing because he's doing some tremendous stuff in the fight game, specifically with the Gotti situation as well. Thank you for doing that as well. We really appreciate you. We've got one of the judges. We've got Breaking Bad Boxing. He'll be judging quickly who you are and why you're here, brother.
Hey, I'm Breaking Bad Boxing. I really specialize in boxing preview and predictions on the betting side of it. I like to give breakdowns, so feel free to follow me on YouTube and Twitter. On Twitter, it's Breaking B Boxing, and then on YouTube, it's Breaking Bad Boxing. Thank you.
Awesome, brother. Thanks for being here. We've got the one and only Jack Alter as well. Jack, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here, brother.
What's up, guys? My name is Jack Alter. I am a boxing fan. I am 24. I used to do a little boxing. Myself. I'm trying to get back into it. Just here to talk boxing, debate. I did my introduction a little bit that last time. I respect everyone in here. We got great. Everyone in here knows boxing, so I'm happy. I got a nice little group of people. I tweeted about it saying, "Hey, look, I'm talking boxing because everyone knows everyone in here, and it's great." And I'm excited. Let's just talk boxing, debate boxing, and let's do what we do.
Awesome. Glad you're here, man. Jay MMA, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here as well, brother.
Same sentiment as Jack, just here to talk boxing. Again, like I said last week, I know I got the MMA in my name, so please do not get it confused. I like boxing. I love boxing. So yeah.
Awesome. And last but not least, we got Jay Boogie, who competed in the last round. He'll be one of the judges as well. Jay Boogie, once again, a little rundown of yourself and why you're here, brother.
Yeah, just a big boxing fan, and obviously competed in the first round and had a lot of fun, and just wanted to be involved for this round. I got a YouTube channel at Boogie Boxing. I'm about to get up and running, and I'm on Twitter at Boogie Boxing YT.
Awesome. Can't wait. Really looking forward to it. So we got our little intros, little breakdowns. We're going to start with our first matchup. So I'm going to put everyone backstage except for the two contestants. We're going to have the three judges because it seems like one of our judges has flaked, unfortunately. I had a feeling, it's inevitable. Once you get more than three people together, it's inevitable someone's going to flake. So We're going to keep How Boxing Works and JMMA on the stream, and we're going to put everyone else backstage. It's going to be 4 rounds, so I'm going to move all of you guys right now. Hold on. Alrighty, fellas. Look, I've been looking forward to this one. It's going to be a good debate. You guys advanced both in the first round through different ways.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Am I coming in?
I can hear you fine.
Can you hear me? How Boxing Works? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not sure. It says I'm in the show.
Hold on. Let me remove him and put him back in. Hold on. Let me put him back in. Hold on. See if he can rejoin now. Yeah, apparently it may just be on him. All right. Can you hear me now? No? Seems like we may have to do Jack Alter versus
sorry, man. I don't know.
We may have to do Jack Alter versus Billions first because
I heard Jay, but
Jay, are you speaking?
Yeah, no, I'm right here.
Yeah, he says he hears you, but not me. Okay, so if anything, let me put you guys backstage, and I'll bring you guys right back. We'll start off with Jack versus Billionaire Boxing. Okay, fellas? Hold on. This is what happens when you get a lot of people on. There's always some technicalities. So, boys, you guys may have to debate first now because there are some technicalities going on of how boxing works in the audio. So, I had a feeling this might happen. I want to see if Billionaire Boxing is still there. I want to get this debate going. Billions, are you there or no?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
All
me?
right, perfect. Yeah, I can hear you. So, we're going to get this one going first, and then we're going to get the next round after. Hope all 3 judges are paying close attention. And here we go, guys. So, we actually have the 3rd judge. Vic, press the link I sent you so you can be backstage so I can add you later, and you'll be the judge. And Spitbucket, I'm going to re-add you. Spitbucket, you'll be co-host. We have the judge backstage.
Sweet.
Okay, so let's begin this. We've got 4 topics. I'm really excited for this one. You guys know the rules. We've gone through this. Jack Alter, what is the first topic you 2 will be debating?
I mean, it can really be. I mean, I guess the first one you sent, I believe, was I can't remember, MMA versus boxing.
Okay, we'll start with that one. Listen, we've got all 4 topics together. The first person I mentioned normally gets a little advantage because they get to bring up that topic, and then the second person is able to counter if their topic after. So, Jack, we'll start with MMA versus boxing. What's your stance on MMA versus boxing? And Billion, what's yours? Jack, you go first.
So I don't have a minute. I can just explain, and then I'm good.
Well, what's your stance? Are you pro MMA or pro boxing between the 2?
Well, obviously, I'm pro boxing, but I think MMA is a more popular sport. It's growing more than boxing, and yeah.
Okay, so perfect. So, Billionaire, I assume you're on the boxing side. That boxing is bigger than MMA at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, great. All right, so Jack, let's get this started. If you're gonna have a minute and a half instead of 1 minute like last time. You're gonna get 90 seconds to make your point, and then Billionaire is gonna have a minute and a half to make his point, and then you guys are gonna have 2.5 minutes going at each other. Okay, Jack? And okay, Billionaire? Mm-hmm. Perfect. So, Jack, you're going to start at 8 minutes and 30 seconds on the top left, and you're going to go all the way to 10 minutes on the dot, okay?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
So, obviously, I'm going into a bit of a risky lane because everyone here prefers boxing to MMA, and I prefer boxing to MMA as well. But we got to look at the facts. And I think I really saw the downfall of this when Canelo fought Kovalev, and I think it was Jorge Masvidal. It was a Jorge Masvidal fight. And we saw on this boxing card, literally Canelo and Kovalev sleeping while they wait for the MMA fight to go ahead. So I think that was just that's just one thing. But if you look at the numbers in MMA, and I don't really think it's like MMA is taking over boxing. I just think they're different sports. But MMA is more popular. Just look at the numbers, and look at the numbers, man. I mean, and some of the biggest boxing things were with MMA guys like Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. And I do love boxing compared to MMA. I prefer it to MMA. But dude, it's more fighting than boxing is. It's actual fighting, and people prefer that. Just look at how much bigger the UFC community is compared to the boxing community. I don't think boxing is a dying sport. But I just think UFC is overtaking it. I do.
So that's it. You want to go extra 20 seconds?
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so that's your point for the first round. Billionaire, we'll get your response as well in your minute and a half. We'll start from 10 minutes on the dot to 11 minutes and 30 seconds. So that will be 4, 3, 2, 1, begin.
All right, so liking MMA doesn't mean you have to stop liking boxing. MMA is a multidisciplinary sport, while boxing just focuses on the sweet science. This isn't a story of migration; it's a story of expansion, where the rise of MMA is not causing an exodus from boxing. It's simply growing the entire sports pie. Boxing remains the global capital A side. For instance, the highest grossing pay-per-view was May Pack. The second highest grossing boxing pay-per-view was Conor McGregor and Mayweather. The highest grossing UFC pay-per-view was Khabib McGregor. It did 2.4 million, which was 2.2 less than the highest boxing pay-per-view event. With that being said, that only proves my point that the biggest MMA star at the time went over to boxing to get his biggest payday. Okay? Boxing will always be the A side of combat sports. It's been here for 100 years. It's been here since the beginning of time. When MMA fighters want to make money, they have crossover events where they come fight boxers. Boxing is the foundation. It's the culturally rooted. And what can we say? I mean, MMA is still kind of growing in a way. And you know it's crazy? The MMA king himself, Dana White, guess what he's dipping into nowadays? Boxing. Boxing. Call it we UPS because we got the boxes everywhere.
All right, perfect. Perfect, boy. Perfect. Round one comes to a close. What a
Damn.
round.
You got an unofficial judge? You got room for an unofficial judge?
Bro, we can't have the judges swayed. We can't have the judges swayed.
Good stuff, gentlemen.
Good stuff, fellas. That was a nice little entertaining round, right? Okay, so the round's actually not over because we have 2.5 minutes back and forth discussion. So, Jack, you're going to start at 12 minutes, top left, all the way to 14 minutes and 30 seconds. Begin.
Okay, so when you say the A side, I think Dana White, and I'm not a fan of Dana White at all. And like I said, I prefer boxing and MMA. But when we're talking about money compared to popularity, boxing is going to win. Of course, boxing is going to win. But when we're talking about popularity, you have to look at consistency. So UFC, every single UFC card is basically like, do y'all remember when we got Better Be at Bivol 2 earlier in the year? And that was like an amazing card. The UFC fans get treated to stuff like that all the time, where it's just top guy after top guy after top guy. The cards are amazing. There's not a lot of wait time in between. And even though the pay is terrible, it really is terrible. And I think it's disgusting the way Dana White, I just think Dana White's a bad person, but that's a whole other story. The popularity and the money are two completely different things. And I think the UFC is more consistent with what they do. And boxing, sure, it has every great once in a while, like has a Crawford Canelo, but the UFC is more consistent. The UFC is more consistent. And I don't know what else I got to say. I got more time, but the UFC is just more consistent right now. And
well,
money
back and forth conversation. So, yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay. Oh, my bad.
I hear you, man. You keep saying popularity, but we talking boxing versus MMA, and this is a money game, baby. It's your boyfriend Ryan Garcia. He's super popular, right? You know what I'm saying? He generates money. He's not necessarily good boxer. Like it's like the same difference. We talking this the money game, Jack. And while I like to agree with you, can you name me one MMA event this year that outdid Bud and Canelo?
I mean, I don't pay attention to the numbers of UFC.
God damn, what you come to this debate for? To see my beautiful face?
Okay, can you name off the top of your head right now how much Crawford Canelo did? Or
I asked you a question. I asked you the question.
But you can't answer my question. You can't answer my question. Can you name
it did around 40 million.
40 million?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, you got me there, I guess. But
God damn it, that's next round. Get him the fuck out of here. This fool ain't the debate. Get next round. That's next subject, dog.
But there's money and popularity, dude. It's money. We're talking about money and popularity. More people watch UFC.
The question is boxing versus MMA. This is a money game. If it wasn't about the money, Dana White would be.
We're talking about popularity, bro.
All over the
popularity. We're talking about popularity.
Who gives a fuck about Khabib? Nobody. They love Crawford.
There's
they love
Canelo.
They love Haney. They love Ryan Garcia. They talking about Tank. Are you fucking serious?
Dude, there's more UFC fans than there is boxing fans.
Prove it. You ain't proved shit yet.
Round's over. Good round one, fellas.
Good job, gentlemen.
I was bursting. Good thing I was on mute because I was laughing.
I forgot to mute myself.
So all three judges that are watching, you guys are all backstage. I want you guys to DM me through Twitter. We're all communicating your scorecard for round number one, okay? I want you guys to message me your scorecard after round one. We're about to begin round number two. Just text it to me the same way we've been communicating previously. So round 1 comes to a close. Round 2 is about to begin. Billionaire, the floor is yours. What topic do you want for this round, my friend?
Jake Paul is not hurting boxing.
Okay, so your stance is he is not.
He's not.
And Jack's stance is he is. Okay, perfect. So, Billionaire, you're going to have a minute and a half uninterrupted from 15. We'll go from 15:30 to 17 minutes on the dot just to make it simpler. So, hold on. Things on my screen. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, begin.
Jake Paul is not hurting boxing. He's providing a modern-day on-ramp for new fans to come, and he's injecting massive, unprecedented revenue into the sport, and he's also using his platform to challenge broken paydays that are hurting fighters today. Boxing has struggled for decades to attract the younger mainstream outside of mega fights. But Jake Paul brings millions of followers from YouTube and his other social media accounts, a demographic that would never have watched boxing any otherwise, okay? Paul Tyson was a global phenomenon, 60 million households worldwide, record-breaking, with nearly 50 million people tuning in for the co-main event of Katie Serrano. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They may come for Jake, but eventually they're going to get exposed to real boxers. Jake is not hurting the sport. Jake is simply doing what our guy Dana White is doing. He sees a piece of the pie, he's entering it, and he's making his moves. If my opponent today could show me how Jake is hurting the sport without providing a emotional circus answer, then we will have something to talk about. But Jake Paul is bringing unprecedented paydays to the women's boxing. He's bringing unprecedented paydays to fighters, and he's also trying to argue, which he might never get, a $50,000 minimum for UFC fighters.
Perfect. Okay, so Billionaire made his point for the Jake Paul stance. Jack, you're going to go from 1710 to 1840. Begin.
Okay, I agree with you when you say that Jake Paul, with the way he's managing women's boxing and the way he's paying certain fighters, I agree. I think Jake Paul is helping boxing that way. But in terms of himself and the way he fights, I think it is hurting boxing. Excluding him as, you know what I mean? Excluding him as an individual, like the way he's as a manager with MVP, I think he's doing good with that. And I think he is helping boxing somewhat. But the whole Mike Tyson thing, like fighting a 6-year-old Mike Tyson, it gets more eyes and more people are like, yo, everyone come look at Netflix. Like Mike Tyson's going to fight this Jake Paul guy. People look at us badly. Like it's weird. It's like a circus. It's like, and I know you said don't go that emotional circus route, but that's what it is, bro. That's what it is. And same thing with him fighting, you know, UFC fighters and old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So I agree though with she does help with the manager aspect, but in terms of what Jake Paul represents, I think it's bad. He brings more eyes, yes, but everyone looks at boxing like a joke when Jake Paul is involved. Like everyone in hardcore fans hate Jake Paul because he's a goof, dude. He's a goof. Whatever he does, it's going to be something goofy. You know he's not going to fight a real boxer. And the first time he fought a real boxer, he lost. And that says we can talk about his boxing skill all you want, but what he does fighting, and the same thing with his brother Logan. It's all just a shit show. When Logan fought Mayweather, it's all just a shit show circus, dude. That's all it is. It's all a circus. Now, I agree, manager, as a manager, MVP, that's good. But him as Jake Paul, him boxing, I think it's bad. I think it's bad for the sport. Absolutely.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Jack. Okay, so it's going to be back and forth, 2.5 minutes. We're going to go from 1855 to 2115. So begin. 2125. Go.
All right, Jack. I'm not here arguing to tell you that Jake Paul is the next Canelo Alvarez. I want you to see that he can possibly be the next Vince McMahon, the next David Stern. Jake Paul is young, he's hungry, and you know, you're right. When he gets in the ring, it looks like stir-fried shit. But guess what? Those fights generate money that pay the fighters that we actually want to see. It keeps them motivated to keep going. It keeps them moving forward. People got to stop focusing on the ugliness of Jake Paul and let's focus on some green. Don't you want to get paid, Jack? Let's get paid. Let's find out how we can call MVP and get paid. Me and you. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah. I get what you're saying, but just like as a hardcore, there's just a part of me that really like pushed it away. And one thing that I saw that really pissed me off was Jake Paul. I think it was after Dubois Usyk 2. Jake Paul was in the ring, and Joseph Parker was talking to him like, "Oh wait, let me get him first, Jake Paul. Let me get Usyk first." And I'm like, why the hell is a world-class professional boxer like Joseph Parker talking to this social media influencer boxer talking about, let me get Usyk first. This dude who fought.
Yeah, Jack. They all trying to get paid. When we found out Tank wasn't gonna be in that fight no more, we saw cats like Edgar Berlanga twerking his ass on X. We saw all kinds of people. We saw I think I saw Yao Ming trying to fight Jake Paul to get that check. Like I seen all kind of people selling that ass for that Jake Paul fight. Listen, man, us hardcores gotta realize that nowadays if you got that bag, you call them shots, man.
Yeah, but I just can't. There's just a part of me that can't accept it. Just the hardcore fan, it's goofy. I just think it makes us look bad. And you can say money. I mean, we just disagree on this. Money and popularity, we just disagree. I don't think there's anything else we can say. You're on that money side. I'm on the side as a boxing
This is the
fan.
thing. If they spending the money, that's popular to them because these events are generating massive paydays. We ain't talking about
They are.
yard boogies. We talking about massive paydays. So the popularity is there. We in a recession right now. People still spending their money on that shit. Can you believe that?
But we want to see. I want to see stuff, and I'm pretty sure most boxing fans want to see stuff like Crawford Canelo as a big fight. We don't want to see a big fight like Jake Paul versus.
Right. But it's just four of us in here, and Jake Paul got millions.
No, but that's what I'm saying. As a boxing fan and myself, you
right.
Boxing fan, you're money. Like I come here as a boxing hardcore fan. I don't care about money. I don't care about these other people. I care what I want as a boxing consumer.
Numbered by casuals. This is a casual game, Jake.
I mean, it is a casual game, but as a hardcore, I gotta disagree, bro. I gotta disagree.
Oof. All right, fellas. Round number 2 comes to a close. I guess that's how we'll end that round. So judges, message me your scorecard. Vic, I haven't gotten a message from a private message for the scorecard after 2, so please DM me how you have it after 2. I'd appreciate it. And everyone else also DM me how you scored the second round. So round 2 comes round 2 comes to a close. We're beginning with round number 3. Jack, what's the topic you want to go with for this one?
Were we gonna do Saudi Arabia? We're gonna do Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, do Saudi Arabia. I'm giving you the chance to pick which one you want.
Yeah, so Saudi Arabia. Sorry, the chat's. Let me put my phone to like cover that up. The judge is saying something in the chat right now. With Saudi Arabia, I think it is a cap. Oh wait, do I have to wait for like my time? Or
no, just tell. So what's the topic that we agreed for? I'm checking right now.
Saudi Arabia is the capital of boxing now, and he says that it's not. And I don't know how he could say that because like if he's all about the money.
Okay, so Jack Alter believes that Saudi Arabia is the capital of boxing, and Billionaire Boxing TV believes that it is not. So, Jack Alter, you're going to begin 22.50 to 24.20. Begin.
I mean, this one is, I don't know what we're talking about money. We're talking about money. These guys are going to get paid. You go to Saudi Arabia. This month, I think it's the 22nd. We got Devin Haney, Brian Norman, that huge card with David Benavidez in Saudi Arabia. We got a really big card. It's the capital boxing. Like he's saying, all these guys want to go get paid. They want to go to Saudi Arabia to get paid. And this Turki Al-Sheikh guy, he's conducting all of it. He conducted Canelo Crawford. He's really making big things happen in boxing. And I like Turki Al-Sheikh. Some things I don't like what he does, but if you want to get paid, if you want to be big, you go to Saudi Arabia. So that's all I got. I don't know what else to say. Like that's the capital right now, Saudi Arabia. You want to get paid, you want to get big, go to Saudi.
All right. That'll be all the time you'll use then. Billionaire Boxing, go from 23.45 to 25.15. Begin.
All right, Saudi Arabia is the biggest sports investor in a new stage for a lot of blockbuster fights. But a true capital export talent. It doesn't just import it. A true capital is built on decades of history, a deep-rooted in culture, a system that produces fighters, everything that Saudi Arabia lacks. They don't got no world champions. They don't got no gyms. The capitals of boxing is London, Las Vegas, New York, UK. We run this shit. UK, Saudi Arabia is trying to get in, and you know what we can agree on about this? That bag is their way in because there's no gatekeepers. If we can come together and be better about gatekeeping our shit, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But right now, we still hold the title of the cat. They want to be like the MGM. They want to be like Bob Arum. That's what they trying to imitate. So you know what they do? Since you got the paper, I'm gonna go buy up all your high grade shit. and I'm gonna bring it over here. It might not sell the same, but we gonna make it look like, we want to bring it. You know what's crazy though? The accessibility. We all can't hop on planes and go to Saudi anytime we want to see fights. That's why this is the capital. If you want to go to New York tomorrow, you can ride your bicycle if you wanted to go see a fight. You can't ride no damn bike to Saudi. You know what I'm saying? This is the capital. The
10
United
seconds.
States. Huh?
10 seconds.
Okay. I'm good. I fucked up. I was in the rhythm. I fucked up.
My bad, G. That's why I was trying to say it low, just so I wouldn't cut you off. My bad, brother. So, if anything, 2.5 minutes back and forth. Start from 25:40 to 28:10. So 3. Jack, you begin. 2, 1, begin.
I understand that Saudi Arabia isn't entirely accessible for fans, but right now these are where all the guys are going. So it's the capital. I don't know what else to say. Like, they want to get that bag. They want to go to Saudi Arabia, and I understand as a fan, it's not super accessible. Like, we can't just go to Saudi like that, but that's where we're watching it from home in Saudi Arabia, and just look at all the fights. Look at what's happening this month. Look at what happened. We saw Usyk Fury, better be at Bivol. Now we got this one.
Right. And Jack, I agree with you, but I believe that the people watching this debate right now will agree with me that a true capital has boxing gyms. A true capital got a Ronnie Shields. A true capital got a Ryan Garcia. A true capital has they don't have none of that. They don't produce any champions. All they producing is money. When stuff doesn't have culture, all it is money. Eventually, it will fail.
Why does it need to have boxing gyms if it's just a place for guys to go
Because
fight?
we
Why do you need
about
to train and fight? Huh?
we talking about capital, the all time. This history of boxing is here. This is the capital.
I don't understand how what the history has to do with anything. Like, right now, guys are going to Saudi Arabia to have big fights.
Because that's the new ATM. Saudi is the new ATM. But I'm saying what I'm saying. For wild card, top rank. This is the capital. Las Vegas, New York, goddamn Philly.
But we're always gonna have that.
The capital. Saudi, they are the new ATM. I do agree with you on that. They are trying to replicate what we've done. Name me a champion that has ever came out of Saudi. I just need just one.
It's not about training. It's about the fights. I couldn't name you a guy out of Saudi Arabia. I mean, but it's new. Guys are fighting.
When the last time you seen a fight in Saudi? When did you go to a fight in Saudi?
When's the last time I went to a fight in Vegas? Like 2 years ago.
Exactly. Have you ever been to Saudi?
My personal anecdotes don't matter. Yours don't matter either. We're just talking like.
But I'm just saying though. Have you ever been to Saudi? I think the average person can't go to Saudi, Jack.
No, that's accessibility.
The average person can go to Vegas though.
That's accessibility. We're talking about where the fight.
That's what I'm saying. A place that people can't go to will never be a capital. That's what I want you to understand.
We can watch it on the TV when we're at home. It's
For
hard
sure. But
yeah.
Guess what? Guess where I was at this? I was watching Lubin Ortiz. I was ringside, like sweat was hitting my glasses and shit. That's the capital.
Yeah, but why do we matter? It's where the guys fight. It's the fighters. It's about the fighters, not about us.
All right, round. Good stuff, guys. So round 3 comes to a close. Judges, privately message me your scorecard for round number 3, how you guys have it scored right now and tallied up. We have one final topic, and I know what the topic it is. Billionaire, you'll get the start. It's should Canelo Alvarez fight David Benavidez next? I'm not going to lie. Even though I kind of came up with some of these topics, this one's a little more out of the box than some of the other ones we've done, but I think it's going to lead to some interesting discussion. So, Billionaire, we'll start with you. 28 minutes, 50 seconds, up to 30 minutes and 20 seconds. Begin.
It's simple for me. A fighter who has won 4 titles, a fighter who's a 4-division champion and became the only undisputed champ in his division history doesn't need one more specific guy to validate his career. Canelo's first ballot Hall of Fame legacy is secured. He doesn't need a man who voluntarily moved up a weight class. He did that on his own. Let's be real. The time for the fight has gone, and Canelo has nothing to prove. 4-division world champion, undisputed. Y'all boy Triple G, Cotto, Kovalev, Bivol, Charlo, Bud, Smith, all guys who were or predicted to be champions, defeated by Canelo. He's done everything. He's touched the top of the pinnacle. If he wanted to fall off the bridge tomorrow and go swimming in the ocean for the rest of his life, I would not be mad at him because David Benavidez still has a lot to prove. He voluntarily moved up. Canelo doesn't have to chase Benavidez. It's the other way around. If Benavidez wanted that fight, he should have stayed at 168 until he. I mean, gotta get a nutritionist, get a new diet, stop eating so many. Get your body together. But the man has already done everything we needed him to do. He just fought Terrence Crawford,
and he lost. Sorry, not to interrupt.
That's a near point deduction, Jack. You're very lucky, bro. Next time it's a point deduction, all right? I know JJ Solomon will back me up on that one. All right, final point, billionaire, and then it's gonna go on to Jack. A few more seconds, brother.
All I'm saying is the guy who's accomplished so much doesn't have to reach back for anybody. David Benavidez ain't even got a title, and that's it.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that. Awesome. Okay, Jack. So you'll have your response now and your opinion on this matter. Go from 30 minutes and 40 seconds to 32 minutes and 10 seconds.
Wait, when? 44. Oh, okay. He's saying exactly what Canelo wants you to believe. Everyone wanted Benavidez versus Canelo for so long, and then he fought Crawford, made it a big deal, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm excited for this one," and they forgot about him fighting Benavidez. 168, and this was for years. Benavidez, I don't think they're gonna fight at the end of the career. I just know Canelo does not want that. He knows he'll lose. He loses every time he steps up to the top competition. But he had years to fight the number 2 guy, and Benavidez, he was begging. You can say what he wanted, but how did he not deserve a shot? He was beating all the top guys over and over. And then I remember reading the Instagram comments on one of Canelo's posts right before the Crawford fight was announced. It was flooded with, "Why are you ducking Benavidez?" The boxing fans wanted to see him fight Benavidez so bad. And then he fought Crawford, and now everyone's saying, "Oh, I'm okay with what Canelo's accomplished. I'm okay with what Canelo's accomplished. It's totally okay. He did this, he did that." He did the Mayweather blueprint. He did things a certain way, fought guys at a certain time. Is Canelo great? Sure. But on paper, it's different than what really happened. He ducked David Benavidez, and he's not going to fight David Benavidez. And that fight's not going to happen anyways. Now it's 175 for Benavidez, and Canelo's at 168. And I think Canelo's done at his career, but he ducked Benavidez. Clearly, Benavidez was the guy to fight, and Canelo didn't want to fight him because it was too much of a risk. So he decided to go down. He decided to fight Crawford, who's going up in weight, and he lost.
All right, perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to have back and forth conversation now. We'll start off with Billionaire Boxing. Start from 32-20. This is going to be back and forth with both of you. 32-20 to 34-50, back and forth. Begin, Billionaire.
You can't call a man a duck who moved up 2 weight classes to fight Sergey Kovalev. You can't call a man a duck who fought the undefeated Dmitry Kovalev. You can't call a man a duck who fought the number 1 pound-for-pound king, Terrence Crawford.
And he lost.
He takes the biggest challenges, win, lose, or draw.
There's always something about him. He waited years to fight Gennady Golovkin.
I hate to do this to David Benavidez, but he got touched up by Morrell. He got touched up by
Morrell would beat Canelo. Morrell would beat Canelo at this point. He's too big.
Says who? You?
Yes, and I know
and that's
boxing.
Nothing Morrell has done has ever indicated that he could beat Canelo. Prove me wrong.
At this point, he probably could, but I mean,
because he's bigger. Because he got bigger titties.
I mean, we can debate on a whole other topic but we're on Benavidez ducking Canelo or not.
I'm just saying.
Why didn't he fight him? I mean, he had years. It's what everybody wanted. Why he was at 168 for years. Benavidez is at 168 for years. Why didn't he fight him?
The thing is, Canelo's career is not going to be defined by one fight he didn't take. It's already solidified. What David Benavidez needs to do is focus on creating his first ballot claim right now because Canelo's done.
I agree. Canelo isn't. I agree with you there that Benavidez needs to carve a legacy of his own, but Canelo ducked him, and there's no doubt in my mind. He had such opportunity for years to fight Benavidez, and he constantly said no. And he was like, Canelo said he comes in like 200 pounds. So did Berlanga, but he fought Berlanga. He come at 200 pounds. So he's scared to fight Benavidez. He didn't want to fight him.
A-side. Canelo has done everything he needed to do. He can call his own shots.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants you to. That's what it looks like on paper. You're not looking at the fine print.
But at the end of the day, Jack, when me and you are going to dead and aliens dig up all this shit, they're gonna see.
Right, but I know the truth.
A 4-division champion, undisputed. They're gonna see that he beat Terrence Crawford. They're gonna see that Morrell almost got knocked out by unchallenged. David Benavidez almost got knocked out by unchallenged Morrell. That's what they.
When did he almost get knocked out? He dominated that fight.
I ain't gonna lie. I never seen him hurt into that fight.
He won like 9-3. How did he?
Sure, he did. I ain't saying he didn't win, but he got hurt.
Okay, once. But
the thing is, Canelo is solidified.
Benavidez?
Listen, bro. Canelo's done it. He's done it all. What is David Benavidez? What has he done for us lately?
I mean, he just beat Morrell, who's a great undefeated guy.
Morrell damn near got his cheeks clapped in his following fight.
10 seconds.
That doesn't matter what happened after, bro. He went in against an undefeated Morrell, who was big name. Everyone thought Morrell was going to beat Benavidez.
Bivol, Billy Joe Saunders.
Those are terrible names.
Time.
That was a white boy summer run.
Jack, debate comes to a close.
That was the white boy summer run, bro. Hey, I love this dude.
What?
Hey, I want to say
Billionaire's a real one, man. Good stuff, guys.
We make it to the final bell, guys. We make it to the final bell. JJ Solomon has to step in like as the ref, like in between you guys.
Yeah. Y'all separate, man. Come on. Let's just talk this over. It was good debate, guys. Good debate.
All right. So everyone send me your scorecard. And I already know the outcome basically, but everyone send me your scorecard, and then I'm going to have you guys actually in the stream explaining your card, and then we'll let Billionaire and Jack have their final say at the end. So
yeah, I'll throw some feedback when the scores are in, so that way there's no swaying of the judges. But good job, gentlemen.
So the last topic was, as mentioned before, it was does Canelo have to fight Benavidez? Jay Boogie is texting right now. Jay Boogie, I need your scorecard as well.
I think I know what it's going to be.
1, 2, 3. Okay, so hold on. I have two of the. I think I have two of the cards now. 2, 3, 7. Okay, so I have all three scorecards in. So the score totals: 2 judges, both Boogie Boxing and Vic scored about 39-37, and Breaking Bad Boxing scores about 40-35. For your winner by unanimous decision, Billionaire Boxing TV. Billionaire Boxing gets the job done by unanimous decision. Let's add these boys quickly to the stage. Good stuff, fellas.
Hey, congrats, brother. You did good.
He killed it.
Good stuff, guys. So if anything, I don't know if Vic is there because his screen's off, but Vic, if you're there, you could explain your card, Jay Boogie as well. If anything, Jay Boogie started off. Why'd you score it the way you did? You had it 39-37.
To be honest, I think overall, Billion, he's a really good debater. I mean, I think it really doesn't matter what the topic is. I mean, he could debate about anything. He's just a really good speaker. And I think Jack was kind of a little bit punished by the side that he was on in some of these topics. Like he had harder sides to debate. But I think overall, Billion just he said more. He made more points in the limited amount of time, and he had, in my opinion, he had a little bit easier sides to argue. But he did take advantage of it, so I'm not going to fault him for that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was really close though. It was very close.
Got you. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay Boogie. I'm going to put you backstage. You'll be judging the next fight as well. Give me 1 sec. All right. Breaking Bad Boxing. You scored it 40-35. The first ever 10-8 I've seen. you had Billionaire winning a comfortable decision. You could quickly explain why you scored it the way you did.
Yeah, so this could be an unpopular scorecard. Let me explain. I gave the first round, and before I judge this, I am a grappler at heart. I grew up wrestling, and I'm a jiu-jitsu blue belt. I scored the first round 10-8 when it came to the MMA discussion. This man said the rise of MMA will not be the exodus of boxing, and that was the most significant punch of the round, significant punch of the fight. That was a knockdown in my personal opinion. Round 3 was almost a 10-8 when he brought up the fact that Yao Ming was almost selling gas.
Facts.
Jack is a great fighter, great debater, but Billion came with the facts. He came ready to go. I didn't think he lost a round, and I gave round 1 a 10-8 round. Unpopular opinion, possibly, maybe. I think my scorecard's pretty solid.
Okay. Thank you, Breaking Bad. I appreciate it. I'm going to put you backstage. You'll be judging the next fight. Okay, brother? Thank you so much. All right. I don't know if Vic is there or not. His screen is black. He scored it 39-37. Vic, if you're there, can you explain quickly why he scored it 39-37? I can't hear Victor. Hold on. Probably going to remove him from the stage. If anything, he scored at 39-37. He had it unanimous as well. 1 round for Jack. Jack, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate having you here, man. Honestly, you made it to the semifinals. You're always gracious in win or defeat, and you're a very good debater, and your knowledge is very high level, as well as your predictions. Do you have any final closing thoughts you want to say for the people watching?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Billionaire, God bless you, bro. Glad you won. I'm happy for you, man. And I appreciate the judges. I don't have anything else to say. And yeah, God bless everybody. And this was fun. I'd love to do it again sometime.
100%, Jack. You're always welcome for the future ones. Thank you so much, brother, for
Thank you.
coming
I
on. I
appreciate
really
it, brother.
appreciate
Later,
you.
Jack.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Good one, my friend. I don't know if Vic's there or not. His screen is black, so I'll just remove him and re-add him if he's there. Billionaire, you get the victory once again. You didn't have to go to overtime this time, which is a relief for everyone watching. You got the unanimous decision. Quick final thoughts on the match you just had and your next match as well.
Man, shout out to the judges. Shout out to everybody who participated. I just want to say rest in peace, Tina Madden. You will be missed. And Eric, thanks y'all for having me, man. This is Billionaire Boxing TV.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you in the finals. So congrats to making it there. All condolences and rest in peace to your aunt as well. Thank you so much for coming on while going through that simultaneously. You did a great job. Thank you, my friend.
Respect.
All right. So we've got the co-host for a reason, JJ Solomon. While we're getting the main event prepared, can you talk to us a little bit about what you just saw, that matchup? What'd you think overall? A little quick 2-minute post-fight recap before we get the final two in.
Yeah, man. I saw a very prepared Billionaire. Just not surprised there. Very, very prepared. And salute to that because he was working the fight all weekend too. So he had to get right to work. What I saw from Billionaire was something like what I like from Virgil Ortiz. Knows how to box, but also knows how to brawl. You would see Billionaire on the first part of the round break it down and some sweet science. But then when it was time for some back and forth, you'd see him bringing out his personality and knocking out and putting him down. Obviously, there was some 10-8 rounds. I think at the end of the day, Billionaire brought facts and actual data. What stood out to me in the first round, Jack kept saying, just look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. It's your job to present those numbers in a debate, dog. And even in the last round, where I agree with Jake's sentiments and his feelings about Canelo. I agree with a lot of the way he feels about him. Billionaire still made the argument for what the topic was, and if I was a judge, I would have even given that round to Billionaire as well, even though I feel what Jack is saying. So great job, but Billionaire came out ready. I think maybe I'm just speaking. I mean, Billionaire is improving week over week too, dog. So good luck for whoever has to face him next week.
No, 100%. Yeah, it's funny because I do think that Jack gave it a go, but Billionaire is very concise and precise in how he conveys his message. And I actually texted you that I felt round 8 was borderline 10-8, or round 1 was borderline 10-8 because Billionaire won that round very clearly. I almost felt like I had to step in and
wow,
it's over. But obviously we're not going to do that. And Jack did come on stronger later. I believe it was definitely round 4, and I think it might have been at around 2 or 3 where Jack made it competitive. But I felt overall Billionaire was definitely fought, for using boxing terms, he definitely fought the more disciplined fight of the two, had the better fundamentals, the better technicals, and gets the job done. He's advancing to the finals, and we've got a matchup now. I'm adding 2 men to the stage now because this will determine who takes on Billionaire Boxing for the finals. We've got How Boxing Works, and we've got JMMA.
I can hear you now.
Gentlemen.
There we go. Perfect. JJ, if you want to do the honors and just quickly start it off with a little intro about this matchup and what they have to expect in the finals as well.
All right, man. Yeah. So first off, welcome to round 2, gentlemen. This is going to be exciting, and we're excited to hear from How Boxing Works. We see you on Twitter all the time, brother. So just to kind of see the debate in action, there's some suspense there. But good luck to both you gentlemen. I hope you guys came prepared, and I hope you guys see how the judges are scoring. They're putting their emotions out of it, and they're looking at facts. So be sure y'all are aware of that as y'all go into these rounds. So with that said, are we just throwing? I'm gonna throw it back to you, Max.
Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, for sure. We're making sure these judges are as neutral as possible. No matter what you think on the actual topic, who presents the better argument is what you're scoring it off. And I appreciate that the 3 judges did that. So we're going to get it moving. We've got 4 rounds here. You guys already seen the format, how it went last round. We've got 4 topics. I'm going to give How Boxing Works the first choice for the topic. What topic do you want to start off with, my friend?
You could just go straight down the list how you sent them.
All right, perfect. So we'll begin with, is Naoya Inoue the most dominant current fighter in the sport of boxing? So How Boxing Works, you'll start from 44.35 to 46.05 uninterrupted. 3, 2, 1, begin.
No, Inoue is not the most dominant current fighter, although he is in the top contention. I just think that what we've seen the likes of Terrence Crawford do. The question says current. Inoue has been kind of stagnant. I mean, he took over his division, but he hasn't tried to continue to dominate other weight classes since then. He's had 4 or 5 title defenses now. We've seen Terrence Crawford clear out 47, move up to 54, beat Madrimov for a belt, then skip another 2 weight classes and go beat Terrence Crawford or beat Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision. So I just think that's more dominant. And you also have a guy like Usyk coming from cruiserweight, clearing out cruiserweight, moving up, and doing what he did at heavyweight, beating Tyson Fury 2 times, beating Anthony Joshua twice, being an undersized guy. Tyson Fury came in at 270. Usyk was what, 240, soaking wet. So being at that weight deficit, I think that is a more dominating win to beat him 2 times than what Inoue has been doing. And same goes for Terrence Crawford, hopping up 2 weight classes and beating the undisputed champion, not clearing out but beating the man at that division. It's just, there's no comparison.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for that. JMMA, you're going to have a minute and a half for your opinion. Start from 46:05 to 47:35. 3, 2, 1, begin.
When I think of dominant, you look it up in the dictionary. I think Nail Inoue's name comes up. I love Crawford. I think he's one of the best boxers we've seen, especially in my generation. But I feel like when I think of dominant, I don't think of someone just moving up and just fighting undisputed champion. If you look at Inoue, he beat Paul Butler, beat Donaire to win the WBO at bantamweight. Then everybody was like, "Oh, Stephen Fulton's the guy." So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go up to one super bantamweight, move up, beat Stephen Fulton, then beat Tapales, and then beat Neri." And this is all in the year he became 2-time undisputed in 2 separate weight classes. So when I think of dominant, I think of someone like that. Not to say Terrence Crawford isn't a great fighter, but when we talk about dominant though, it gets pretty tough for me. I think of Inoue. Just really simple. I mean, he's damn near about to be 3 times undisputed at this point. The rate he's going, they're setting up the Nakatani fight. So I don't think this is it's not close at all. I'm pretty much done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so you both made your 1.5 minute point. Now it's going to be back and forth conversational style debate. We're going to do 2.5 minutes. So we're going to start from 47:30 to 50 minutes on the dot. How boxing works. You start 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm going off what you just said. Terrence Crawford already did that. He's already been undisputed 3 times. For as far as Inoue goes, we've seen him vulnerable. We've seen him down. We've seen him hurt at his weight class that he is dominating at. But we've never seen Terrence Crawford in those situations. He went up there, made it look easy. He dominated Canelo Alvarez after moving up 2 weight classes. Inoue was undisputed, defended it once or twice. I would have liked to see him move up and test himself more, dominate more. He stayed where he was comfortable. And that's not dominant to me. Testing yourself, seeing how far your limits are, that's dominant to me. And I think that's what Terrence Crawford shows and Alexander Usyk showed.
I don't think moving up to fight undisputed champions is a declare of dominance. I think that's more so a declare of greatness rather than dominance. I mean, I don't look at a fighter as dominant if they get hurt. I mean, Floyd got hurt by Zab Judah and then won the rest of the fight. Got hurt by Mosley, won the rest of the fight. I don't really look. I mean, Manny Pacquiao knocked out by Marquez, went on to have a great career. I don't look at fighters as they get hurt or rocked or they're just not dominant. Anyway, got up and everybody likes to talk about when he gets knocked out. What happens when he gets up? Those fights don't look so close after he gets up, So, and again, going back to my point, undisputed in the year. I get Crawford and Usyk moving up, but the thought of someone not just fighting one person to get all the belts, to fight multiple people within the year. Let me go get this belt. Let me go unify that. Okay, I did it in this weight class. Let me go do the exact same thing I just did versus quote unquote better competition. Again, I remember what everybody was saying. Fulton was going, the American, the slick style was going to give Inoue problems, and he put belt ass. So to do that within a year's time span, to go win the WBC, WBO, to do that, for me personally, I look at that as a showcase of dominance rather than fighting one singular person and going, okay, he has all the belts, just go fight him and win a fight. I don't know. I just feel like asserting your dominance, marking your territory is something that Inoue is doing right now.
It's been a while since he fought Paulus. I feel like
Yes, good.
since
That
since
was
then, like it's
yeah.
been he's pretty much just been coasting at his weight class. We don't really a lot of the guys, most fans don't know. They just see another guy in front of a new way. Um, that's just where I'm at.
All right, fellas, round's about to be finished. Thank you for round number one.
Yeah. Okay,
You can
yeah.
make your last rebuttal quickly, Jay, for like it's like 5
No,
10 seconds.
no, you can. No, you good. Yeah,
You're good? Okay,
You
perfect.
good.
All right,
Yeah,
awesome. So round one comes to a close. Good job, fellas. All three judges, send me your scorecard as usual. We're gonna do it for round number two. Jay, is there any particular topic you want to do for round number two, or does it not matter?
Nah. We can do whatever.
Okay, so the next
I'll
topic will
let
be
you
our promoters blocking the biggest fights. So, JMMA, you begin with your opinion and your point, etc. It's gonna be a minute and a half. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're pro or anti promoters blocking the biggest fights? Jay, are you there?
Oh, I thought he was talking to box. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm anti.
You're anti. So you believe promoters aren't blocking the biggest fights.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna start from 51-10 to 52-40, uninterrupted. So 3, 2, 1, begin.
I think the most recent case of this is going to be a pretty high take. Virgil Ortiz and Geron Ennis. I know a lot of people like the fight is going to happen, but looking at the cases of this, it just really just seems like one doesn't want to fight the other. Now, who that is? But listen, we're not here to debate that. We're just purely talking about what's going on. But I mean, you look at fights like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Shakur, he's going up to 140 fighting Tio, but he didn't want to take 25% to do it. You know what I mean? I don't think that's really on a promoter. I mean, you look at Spencer Crawford taking down there 5 years to have it. I mean, you can say a couple politics were involved in that, but I think that was mainly due to both fighters just trying to wait for that perfect moment. And I think a lot of times in boxing, and Andre Ward talked about this recently on his podcast. One fight changes the trajectory of a boxer's pretty much career. It's a fight to fight basis thing. So I think a lot of these guys, they go into these fights and these negotiations, and I don't think it's on the promotions. I mean, you look at a lot of these promotions. Look at Matchroom. Look how they're pushing prospects. Look at Top Rank, how they're pushing prospects with Mason and Richard Torres, and the rest of the guys they got signed over there. So I honestly don't think it's on them. It's primarily due to the fighters and the fear of knowing that if I lose this, how do I? A lot of these guys have never lost before. I think that's really the key thing, and that's not a promoter. It's just a fear of losing.
Perfect, Jay. Thank you. All right, so Jay made his 1 minute and a half. How boxing works? You're gonna go from 53 minutes to 54 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's gonna start in 3, 2, 1, begin.
To kind of flip your argument against you, as you said, like these promoters bring these fighters up a certain way, that it's already pre-planned. They already know how they're going to move a guy to get him to a certain point. So their careers are already pre-constructed by the promoter. And to give you guys like a scenario, Roach and Tank, that was an in-house fight. We know that Shakur versus Tank is bigger than Roach versus Tank was. But PBC wanted to keep all of that money in-house because it's more profitable for their company. They have Roach signed to them. They have Tank signed to them. So they get money on both sides of the pie. We saw this with many major fights from Spence to Crawford, the whole side of the street thing. That's the main reason the fight didn't happen, was because Errol Spence was with PBC, Terrence Crawford was with Top Rank, and Errol Spence didn't want to work with Top Rank. He only wanted to stay with his promoter, and that's mainly because of the way that the PBC operates. They usually only do in-house fights. That was the whole side of the street. That's where that came from, and I don't think that's primarily on the fighter. I put that on the promoter. That's how they move their fighters. That's how they protect their assets. And just most of the major fights throughout history, it's always due to a promotional difference. Obviously, you have fighters that don't want to fight, but the main reason that the fight isn't happening is because it's not going to make the return for the promoter.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for that. So you both made your points for that argument. It's going to be 2 minutes uninterrupted, or not like conversational. We'll go from 55 on the dot to 57. And if we go a few seconds over, that's fine. 55 minutes to 57 minutes. GMMA, you begin.
To counteract your point, I kind of use an example, not really the best example because it's Floyd Mayweather, but I'll use it anyway. He didn't like the way Bob Arum and Top Rank was using him when he was originally signed, and he went out of his way, get himself out of that contract, became his own boss, and
That's
then
my
the
point.
fights. Yeah, so I see that side. That's why I brought that up. So that was a really good
He
point.
ran
I
away
see that.
because he couldn't get the
Yeah,
fights he wanted.
yeah, I see that, but on the same hand now with the day and age of social media, I don't think we're in a stone age anymore to where fighters have guns to their head. And I think the power of social media and just the power of being a independent contractor, it allows for you to do so much. I mean, again, going back to my point, looking at someone like a Boots Ennis or Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford fought. I forgot the David. Listen. I butcher his last name, but he fought the motherfucker on BLK Prime. Fighting him before he fought, doing the Spence fight and looking at things like that. Boxers can do that. I again, it's just the fear of not wanting to lose and the fear of honestly, I think greatness of why these fights don't happen.
With the Jake and Tank fight, I think that fell out because of the promoter, more so than what Tank did. I think that Tank put the promoter at risk, and that's why that fight isn't happening. So it at the end of the day, the fight could have still went on if Jake, the promoter, still wanted to promote that fight. He didn't want to as a promoter, and he's in a weird scenario because he's both the fighter and the promoter. But at the end of the day, it didn't make business sense for the promotional company, so the fight was off.
Do
That's all
you
I got
think
to
that
say.
had? I don't think. I mean, yeah, you could say that has something to do with the promoter, but they're fighting on a global platform, streaming
Last 2 points,
service
guys.
like
Last
that,
2 points.
like Netflix. So I really don't see how. On one hand, I can see how you can say this is promoter, but on the other hand, I think it's a bigger conglomerate behind the scenes than that. But that goes back to my point of it wasn't the promotion's fault. It was Tank's fight. Again, the singular independent contractor's fault, guiding his own career, making that mistake and it ruined his opportunity to get life-changing money.
All right, fellas. Round number 2 comes to a close. Good points from both. Everyone, please, judges, send me your scorecard once again. Round 2 comes to a finish. Now we have round number 3. Let me find the topics I just sent. We're going to do, should fighters be fined for ducking fights? So how boxing works will begin. Should fighters be fined for ducking fights? Go from 58 minutes to 59 minutes and 30 seconds uninterrupted. 3, 2, 1, begin.
No fighter shouldn't be fined for ducking fights in general. No, I don't think they should be fined. It's hard enough for them. They get paid to fight, and um, you never know what the circumstances are surrounding a fight, what happened in negotiations. And I don't think they should be fined for that. It's hard enough out here for fighters to get a bag. Everybody's out here looking for the biggest payday. And the last thing they need is somebody taking more money from them. So that's the main reason why I don't think they should be fined for ducking fights. I mean, we can shame them on social media and talk a bunch of crap, but I don't think we should take money out of their pockets.
All right, perfect, brother. Thank you. JMMA, you're gonna go from. I just want to make it easier for myself because calculating a minute and a half is kind of hard on the fly. So, go. I'm doing the best I can. Go from 59 minutes to an hour and 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1, start.
I mean, as someone who watches both MMA and boxing, I feel like this topic, for me personally, is something I've been waiting to talk about. I do feel like they should be fine. I feel like when you're at the top, we saw Billionaire and Zach talk about this with his Canelo ducking or his certain fighters ducking, and I feel like while you could say like it's wrong to put it out of their hands or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's a business and it's a sport that's trying to grow its reach and reputation. And I feel like in today's world, I feel like a lot of guys, going back to what I was saying before, are just chasing the record rather than chasing greatness. And there's not enough great fighters. You can't tell me right now, like, you can't name 3 of boxing's next biggest stars right now. You just can't, because everybody's trying to chase and do the exact same thing. So I feel like to kind of close that gap a little bit, hit people where it hurts. For example, Shakur, you don't want to take the 25% to be great when, Devin took probably less than that to go, enemy territory twice and, win and defend undisputed versus Gambosa. So I feel like a lot of fighters, they need to get hit where it hurts to not only grow the sport, but to grow opportunities for themselves. I feel like you fighting better competition, in the long run for business works better for the fighter.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Jay. Okay, so we're going to do back and forth conversation, 2 minutes. If it goes a little over, that's fine. We're going to go from hour and 50 seconds to an hour and 3 minutes and 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1, begin. How boxing works.
I mean, you can say that Shakur kind of did lose money because he didn't take that Devin Haney fight. That's a huge opportunity. He received a lot of criticism after that. People called him boring. I believe it was the Avanesian fight. And, they call him a runner or a track star. So it didn't help his stock to not fight Devin Haney. So I do think that currently, when you duck those fights, fans see it and it doesn't benefit you financially, as it would have been fighting Devin Haney for undisputed. That's a fight. They grew up in the amateurs and, it would have been big, but I don't think taking money from the, hard-earned money that they earned in the ring, because you have to think about where all their money comes from, right? Stuff that they earned from previous fights. So if they're getting fined, you're taking from previous purses. That's stuff that they fought hard and earned, and they deserve to keep.
I mean, to combat that point, I mean, you can say the same thing about sanctioning fees. So I feel like that's something like a lot of people
Those
don't talk about.
facilitate the sport, though.
I mean, do they really? Does the WBO really need 9% off of the piece of the
They don't
cake
take 9%. Each sanctioning body is only allowed to take 3%.
No, I'm not saying they take. I'm using 9% as a basis for an example. But do they really need
3% that they take
much?
runs the entire WBO, which pays for the referees, the ringside officials. All of those people have to get paid somehow, and that's what people fail to realize. That's where it goes to.
Okay, but my point is that kind of could fall on promoters. That I feel like that shouldn't have to. I mean, we're getting away from the topic. My point is, my point is, with fighters having the person take away again, I feel like it kind of adds not only to the greatness, but it adds to the sport itself. Again, we're in a day and age of social media. Nobody wants to be called a Doug nowadays. No, absolutely no one. And I feel like, again, everyone is just trying to chase the bag. And the fact is, not everyone's going to be able to chase the bag and get the lowest risk opponent. It's just not going to happen. We're not
Final
in a perfect
points,
world.
fellas.
So I feel like taking out of the purse to say, hey, you got to fight this guy. Well, it may not be the purse that you want. Cough, cough, Brian Norman Jr. It may not be the purse that you want, but it's the one you're going to have to take to elevate your career to get to those purses. Yeah. If you don't take the fight, you're going to have to, cough up some of the money. I don't see a problem with it.
All right, fellas. Round 3 comes to a close. All the judges send me your score as usual. We have one last topic. It's going to be, is open scoring the future of boxing? So, JMMA, we'll let you begin this one. It's going to be 104 to 105.30 uninterrupted. So, 3, 2, 1, begin.
I feel like as the viewer, to me personally, it kind of kills the suspense of what a fight is. I know it would. I would say it kind of dilutes the point of fighting for like actual fighting. It encourages more survival. That's my point I'm trying to make. It encourages more survival rather than fighting. If a guy knows he's up 4 rounds, he's really not gonna go in an 8-round fight. I'm speaking on. He knows he's up 4 rounds. For the other 4 rounds, he's really not gonna take any risk or chances. And I feel like with open scoring, again, as the viewer, it's really killing the suspense because the magic is unknown. One point I really love using is Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. That 11 round, Lomachenko came off a terrific 11 round, and then the 12th round he just completely lets his foot off the gas. You know what I mean? So I feel like and then Devin Haney came in, and then he bounced back. So I feel like the magic of that in essence is completely lost due to open score. Now, if Loma knew he was losing to something, probably would have knocked out Devin. And as a fan, I don't want to see one of my favorite fighters get knocked out. So I'm actually happy. He took his foot off the gas. So it's just small stuff like that.
Okay, perfect. So how boxing works, you're going to have 105.30 to 107 on the dot. So that's going to start in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I absolutely believe we should have open scoring because then we'll get people to stop screaming robbery. Like in Lomachenko's case, Lomachenko took the 12th round off because he thought he was winning. If he knew the score, he would have not taken that round off, tried to win, and could have potentially changed the outcome of the fight. And we could have seen who in the moment was, I mean, we saw who was the better fighter. It was Devin Haney because he was aware of where the score was and what he needed to do to win. But I think that in open scoring, it'll ease a lot of fans' minds. It'll teach a lot of fans about scoring so that they're not so perplexed when they see a scorecard that they don't like because they were able to see it live and they're able to be like, okay, I can kind of see how he won that round because I just watched that round. A lot of the time, you get to the end of the fight and you kind of forget what happened in the first couple of rounds. So this keeps the fans in tune and aware of what's going on because I think a lot of fans suck at scoring fights. They'll score flurries as landed punches when a lot of them miss, and that's something that judges can discern from. And the sooner fans can see what the score is, the sooner that they can understand where we are currently in the fight. And ultimately, I think it's going to lead to a more transparent boxing with less corruption and more transparency that, the fans can, be in tune with what's going on the scorecards.
Perfect. Right on the money, 107.00. So you both made your points, minute and a half. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes approx, but if you guys go over, no problem. We're going to go from 107.20 to 109.20. But as I said before, if you guys continue combo, you can go another half a minute. So, Jay, you'll start off. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Boxing used the word transparency, and I think with open scoring, I think a lot of people look at transparency as just automatic fairness, and I think it creates a false sense of illusion that it honestly is. Just imagine, right? Open scoring. Judges already have enough pressure on them, anyways. With the day and age of social media, now that there's open scoring, there's going to be even more scrutiny on the judges, even more of them playing into the crowd, even more, coaches screaming in their air, trying to, sway them any kind of way. If anything, I feel like open score is just going to create even more problems than there already is with the current problem with scoring, in my opinion. I think instead of, fixing judging, there could be a lot of things that they could do, but going back to the point, I don't think this doesn't correct corruption. It just moves it again into a more a brighter spotlight to where bullshit behavior is allowed.
I mean, if you go back to I believe it was the Hamza Shiraz fight where Turkey ran over to the judges and gave his opinion. I'm sure a lot of people would have liked to know where the scores were at that point in time to see if he did do anything. A lot of people had a lot of negative things to say about that, and they were like, the fix is in. And that's a completely different jurisdiction. I've never covered a fight in Saudi Arabia. I don't know what their rules are like. I mean, I've tried to do as much research as I can on their structure over there. They are under the ABC, so that they are under some type of unified rules. But there's major corruption in boxing, and more transparency, I believe that there can't be a bad thing to that because we see it live and we don't have to wait till the end and try to debate what could have happened. And even going back to the Tank Roach fight where he took that knee, that is something that should have been addressed right then and there. That um, stuff like that shouldn't happen in boxing, and open scoring gives fans an insight to where the fight's at. So That's just where I'm at with it.
To make my last point, I feel
Your last
like,
one, fellas.
yeah, again, going back to my original point, my opening statement about, boxing being a magical sport, I feel like with opening scoring, we're just taking away from that. We're taking away the magic and more so making a sport, predictable. I think one of the, best examples of boxing magic for me, Andre Ward and Kovalev, seeing, him get knocked down and seeing the behind the scenes, it's his trainer telling him, calm down, get back in there, go do what Andre Ward does. And, he dug deep and went in there and won. Again, the Haney versus Lomachenko. I feel like the illusion of that magic, that storytelling is lost completely when you introduce open score. I feel like at that point, it kind of becomes amateur boxing to where everyone's point fighting, everyone's doing, what they know they need to do to win in it. Now we're creating, the narratives, we're feeding in more to the narratives of casual fans saying boxing is boring, boxing is this, boxing is that. So.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, How Boxing Works. That was a really good 4 rounds. JJ, without saying who you thought won, what your scorecard was, by the way, judges, all send me your score for round 4. Without saying who you thought won, JJ, what do you think of that little back and forth 4-rounder we just had?
Oh, that was great, guys. I think all 4 rounds. I've been taking notes the whole time because this one was harder to score if I was a judge than the first shellacking we saw earlier today. But great job by both guys. Sometimes tugging on the emotion. And I'll follow up because I don't want to give too much away, but hell of a job by both guys.
Perfect, brother. I have one of the 3 judges' scorecards. I just need Jay Boogie and Victor to message me your scorecard on Twitter message, and I'll announce the decision. But thank you both, fellas, for that. I hope you guys enjoyed that little debate. It was definitely a good match from both of you. You guys both have very good knowledge, and I'm glad I'm not a judge. That's all I'll say. So
my favorite part. I watched How Boxing Works. This isn't going to do anything with the scores, but it was funny. I saw you watch yourself when you almost said Loma was greater that night, and you caught yourself. I saw it.
think
I
said
saw
that.
it.
all right, fellas, very important because we have all 3 judges' scorecards. So I'm going to make a quick announcement. So,
Uh-oh.
to start it off, Vic Marquez scores the contest 39-37 for How Boxing Works. Both other 2 judges scored the contest a draw, 38-38. We have a majority decision draw, which doesn't surprise me. So I'm trying to think of how should we sort this? Should we let the chat?
Oh, I thought I wanted majority. I'm tripping.
Should we let the chat decide who won? Should we do another round?
Playing with my new board.
Majority decision draw. 1 judge gave it to How Boxing Works, and the other 2 had it a draw. Obviously, this is a tournament, so we can't just leave it on a draw. We have to find a way to get a winner. So I'll give the chat a choice of sending who they thought won. If we can't get a clear consensus, we'll figure out a 5th round of some capacity. If anything, I can have you guys argue 2 points for 1 round and have all 3 judges score that 1 round. So I think that's what we may just do just to make it simple. We'll go to a 5th round and we'll make it quicker just because I know everyone has places to be and we've already gone the full distance. So we have a majority decision draw at the moment. Oh, hold on. Let me remove this guy. Give me a sec. We have the full 4 rounds completed. What I think we're going to do is we're going to do 1 round that Jay won and 1 round that How Boxing Works won. And the judges will have to just score those 2 topics as 1 round. So out of the 2 topics, I'm trying to check. There wasn't a consensus. There was a consensus that How Boxing Works won rounds 2 and 3, while Jay won rounds 1 and 4. So, if there's any in particular that you would rather do, Jay, out of rounds 1 and 4, let me know. If not, I'll just pick.
You can pick. Shit, don't matter to me.
So we'll do the first round because that's the 1 round that all 3 judges gave you. We're gonna do is Inouye the most dominant current fighter? And How Boxing Works, would you rather do our promoters blocking the biggest fights, or should fighters be fined for ducking fights?
Promoters blocking the biggest fights.
Okay, so we're going to do is Inouye the most dominant current fighter and our promoters blocking the biggest fights? And all 3 judges will have to score just 1 round. So you guys are going to argue both points, 1 minute each for each point, and then the judges will just give it to one person. So JMMA, start off with is Inouye the most dominant current fighter? You'll have 114.35 to 115.35, just 1 minute for the point. 3, 2, 1. Begin.
All right. Going back to my original point about how he, won undisputed, and I can expand on that point now that we have more time. How he, in that small time, he won undisputed, and boxing made the point of Crawford, but I just thought about something. It took I forgot how long it took Crawford and Spence to fight. It's on the tip of my tongue. I forgot, because in that same amount of time, Inoue won undisputed 2 times, and him, the last guy that he fought, I can't pronounce his name, but I know him. Everybody's saying that was the guy, that was the problem, and Inoue went in there and put show people who the monster is. And now we're waiting on Nakatani, who he's going to go in there and do the exact same thing, and probably move up again and just keep repeating the process. And I feel like, again, dominance is not asserted by if someone gets hurt or this is boxing. Anything can happen. I think war wounds come with the sport. I don't think that comes with dominance. But I look at dominance.
Jay, just 1 minute for this one, brother.
Oh, okay, so I ended off with end it off right now.
Perfect. Okay, so how boxing works? You're gonna have just 1 minute for this one, as mentioned before. It's gonna be more of a speed round. We're gonna go from 116 to 117. 3, 2, 1. Begin.
I think that promoters are definitely blocking the biggest fights, mainly because, like, if you look at Shakur's career, was William Zepeda the biggest fight he could have taken? I think Keyshawn was. I think Abdullah Mason was bigger. Obviously, Floyd Schofield, that's why he was going to fight him. And that one had to do with, injury. But I think that we look at how some of these guys are brought up, and they tell you, I want to fight the best. I want to fight the best. I want to fight the best. You hear that from every fighter. Every fighter says they want to fight the best. But what do they all do? They take their sweet time. And that's because of the promoters. The promoters have to protect their assets. And every time we see fighters become promoters, Jake Paul, he has to protect his assets. Floyd Mayweather, when he became his own, when Floyd Mayweather became his own promoter, we didn't see the Manny fight for long ass time. And it's because he was protecting his assets. He had to wait for the perfect time for that fight, where it was going to generate the most money. And that's when we saw it, is when it was finally time. So that's
Perfect.
where I have
Thank
for
you.
it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, normally obviously it'd be longer, but because this is a little bit of a tiebreaker, so I'll let you guys do a minute and a half back and forth on the same topic before we do the next topic. And remember, judges, only score it after I tell you guys to score. So don't score it yet. Score it till after the second topic.
We're doing a minute of back and forth on each topic?
Correct.
Okay,
minute and a half on each topic. So we'll start with this one. So it'll be 117.50 to 119.10 or 119.20. Jay, you'll start. 3, 2, 1, go.
We talking about Inoue, right?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, again, before I was, had enough time. Now I got time now. Again, Inoue, with him, I just feel like, again, with the, I made my whole point about dominance and everything, but with Crawford, because I know, you're big on Crawford and Usyk. I just think, looking at those guys, I look at them and then I look at Inoue and I go, who leaves, like, when I'm watching these three, primetime boxers fight, do I leave each and every one saying this guy is the most dominant in his division, in that division?
The question isn't division. It's who's the most dominant current fighter. And every time you reference Inoue, you go back to what he did in a year time span. That was quite a long time ago since he had that little run.
Because you brought up Crawford.
Because we're talking about currently. Most recently, who was Inoue's last opponent? Who was Inoue's last opponent?
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know who he is, though. I can't pronounce his name.
So Terrence Crawford just beat Canelo Alvarez, who's regarded as one of the best Mexican fighters of all time. After moving up 2 weight classes, we're having a debate right now, and I got to try to prove
that. I was hoping you brought that up. So you saying it name value match just because you don't know who these guys are?
Who was Inoue's last opponent, dog? You still haven't answered my question.
I don't know how to pronounce his name.
That's not dominant to me, man. That's not dominant. That's not
Because you don't know
dominant.
who he is? Because you
I'm
don't know
asking
who he is.
you. You're
No,
arguing with me
I'm saying
on why
no,
he's
I'm
dominant. I
saying
can tell
I'm
you who
saying
Terrence
no.
Crawford dominated. I can tell you who he dominated. Saul Canelo Alvarez, dog. After hopping up 2 weight classes. Not only that, he cleared his weight class out, moved up and fought Madrimov. Didn't need to fight. We saw what Boots just did, fighting Alima, moving up to 54. No, he moved up and dominated Madrimov, then went up another 2 weight classes and dominated. Inouye's been fighting the same, just give me a mandatory, give me a mandatory, give me a mandatory for like 4 or 5 fights now. That's not dominant.
That's not dominant to you because you don't know who these guys are.
We're not
Because they
talking
don't
about
have
who's the
those
most dominant in their weight class. We're just talking about
I'm
who's
not
the most
talking about
dominant current fighter
dominant
in boxing.
exactly. If
And
we're
right
talking about
now,
skill for skill,
that's
that is
not
Inoue.
that's cool in his weight class.
He goes.
We got guys
Listen,
doing
Terrence
a lot
Crawford's
more
going in there
greater
playing
shit.
pity pat. Inoue, okay, I got knocked down. Let me go finish this motherfucker.
Yeah, that's not dominant. Getting put down ain't dominant. It's a good comeback. It's a great comeback. That's not
Floyd getting
dominance.
hurt. So
That's a
Floyd getting
great
hurt
comeback.
by Zab Judah. So Floyd getting hurt by Zab Judah and winning the rest of the fight isn't dominant.
Did he go down?
I didn't act. You the one that made the point said that getting hurt.
Did he go down? I'm just saying.
Getting hurt is getting hurt.
Getting dropped and then coming back to win. That's a comeback. That's not a dominant. What Terrence Crawford did to Errol Spence. What Terrence Crawford did to Errol Spence. That's dominance. That's dominance.
So is it? So what Inoue did to Neary not dominance? Is what he not did to Stephen Fulton dominance? Is not what
look at the level of competition. Look at the level of competition.
Because you don't know their names does not mean they're not.
Just know. Look at the level of competition. It has nothing to do with their names. These people aren't more accomplished than Errol Spence.
You keep bringing up Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence of they're these big market names. That's the vibe that I'm getting from it. That's the vibe.
We're talking about dominance right now, and you're telling me about fights this dude got dropped and mandatory title defenses, and I'm talking about dudes chasing greatness and being dominant while doing it.
Chasing greatness isn't dominance. We're talking about how they look in fights. That's not.
And he gets dropped while Terrence Crawford dismantles every dude they put in front of him.
You're not talking about him getting up and also doing the same thing. That's
a comeback. You didn't dominate from start to finish. You didn't dominate from start to finish, dog. That's a comeback. That's not dominant. Getting put down has never been dominant.
So Terrence Crawford getting hurt versus Gamboa and then finishing him is not dominance. Yes or no?
I didn't hear.
So that's not dominant. That's so Gamboa hurting Crawford, right? And then him winning the fight. The rest of the fight after that, is that a dominant performance? Yes or no?
It's a good comeback performance. It's dominance after being vulnerable.
Come on, man.
And we're talking about currently. We're talking about current.
I'm just saying.
We're talking about current.
A fighter getting hurt or dropped doesn't mean they can't be.
Is Inoue the most dominant current fighter?
Yeah, I just told you why he's the most dominant. He got dropped and he knocking motherfuckers out. Is a knockout not dominant? You sending a motherfucker to the hospital. How more dominant can you get with that?
All right,
fucking Canelo sitting at the press conference drinking coffee and shit. Fucking Inoue putting motherfuckers in the ambulance.
That's all I got to say on that.
That was a good heated round. I let that go like a minute and a half extra because I just wanted to hear it out. I couldn't interject that. So good stuff, boys. We're gonna combine. So that was half of the round. Now the other half of the round is going to be our promoters blocking the biggest fights. So how boxing works, you'll start 123 to 124. 3, 2, 1, begin.
I think that's the only reason we have people that are, fans of promoters is because of they each have like a faction around them. They all get these guys and they move them slow. You look at the Abdullah Masons of the world, none of the fights that he's had were the biggest fight. It says our promoters blocking the biggest fights. What was his last fight? Couldn't tell you, but I know that wasn't the biggest fight available for Abdullah Mason. And that's because of the promoter. That's because of what Top Rank does. When you look at PBC, it's the same thing. You look at what Errol Spence did, right? They moved him in-house, and then he got across the street. And what happened? They lost their investment, crumbled when it went across the street, which is why they didn't go across the street, because they always knew it was going to happen when Errol Spence stepped in the ring with Terrence Crawford. So that's what they do. These promoters block these fights because it's going to lose them money. Those they see that their fighter can be at risk. He can take a loss, and that's not good for the company. And especially when it comes to their cash cows. So if the fighter's generating a lot of money, oh my gosh, yes, the promoter's going to block it as much as he can to milk as much money as he can. While the fighter is still active and still has hype. But when you lose in this sport, it's not forgiving, and they all take that into account.
Okay, awesome. So you went about You went a little extra, so you went 20 seconds over, so I'll give Jay an extra 20 seconds when he goes. So, Jay, it's going to be your response. You're going to go from 124.40 to 126 on the dot. So, we'll give it another second or two. So, 3, 2, 1. Begin, Jay.
Yeah, I do think again fighters should be clocked for their purse. I want to use Terrence Crawford. Love your brother, but I gotta talk about that 147 run. Looking at his 147 run and looking, at Spence's 147 run, you go Spence fought the ladder of better opponents. Why did the fight take almost 5 years to make? So I think there's a sense of politics and a sense of quote unquote ducking and the A side, B side thing. I think if you start to hurt the fighters' pockets, we get more to better fights as consumers and fans. And also it benefits the fighters. They grow their social media platform. They can get the purses that they actually want. Going back to the point that I made originally, when we first made this topic, Brian Norman Jr. and the whole Boots Ennis thing, he took less money to not fight Boots Ennis. And I feel like that really doesn't make sense to me. If we want to grow these divisions and make boxing great as a whole, the best have to fight the best in each and every division. Him going to fight a random Japanese guy that he knocked out and put in the hospital really isn't doing anything per se for his career. I feel like if he would have did that to a Jaron Ennis, they say, hey, we're gonna take such and such money if you don't take this fight, and he would have did that to Boots Ennis, that would have sent him to the moon. Now with fighting Devin Haney, now you can promote the fight, a little bit better. So I think I'm pro fighter. So I feel like in the long run, it helps the fighter and the promotion. I feel like everyone thinks short term because everyone's trying to get a return on profit. So I just think with boxers, they have to fight the best of the best, and they're not being pushed to do that. So they're going to continue to run over these promoters and sanctioning bodies.
Got you. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna aim for 2 minutes, or we'll aim for like a minute and a half. But if it goes a little over like your points have been going, I have no problem. We'll do a back and forth discussion. We're gonna start with how boxing works first. 126.50 to 128.50. That's fair. 2 minutes.
This is on both topics or just the second topic?
The second, just a second.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So basically, it all boils down to every fighter that they do an interview, they're gonna say, "I want to fight everybody. I want to fight this person." Recently, we've seen I forget who I just saw recently, but they went down the list and they were like, who do you want to fight? Who do you want to be friends with? And and he was like, fight, fight, fight. All these guys want to fight. They're fighters at the end of the day. I don't think any of these guys are scared to take fights. They're all warriors. And I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to money. And when the fight doesn't happen, it's because it wasn't going to make money for the promoter, the business. I don't really have too much else to say on that.
Jay, do you have a rebuttal? Or?
Okay, I could go. Yeah, so I can pretty much go on this. So with fighters in the whole money aspect, again, I feel like I said, we're not living in the perfect world, so everyone's not going to be able to fight my waiter from IHOP for $3 million and try to grow a career off that. I feel like you look at the product of the UFC, you got guys, 10, 15 losses being at the top of their sport, being loved by millions and millions of fans because they're fighting the best of the best. I feel like, again, you hit boxers where it hurts. You say, hey, you can't not just fight a Boots Ennis. You cannot just fight a Terrence Crawford. You cannot just fight a Errol Spence just because the fucking ring size is an inch smaller. We're not going to do that. Hit them where it hurts. Say this fight is great for boxing, and you got to pay up. I don't feel like a lot of people really understand when it comes to just how do I say this? Just like the business aspect of it. How much fighting the best just not only improves the sport but gets more casuals and more people just overall involved with it. You look at that period during COVID when people were fighting the absolute best because they weren't ducking. That was one of the best times for boxing, hands down. That period from like 2020 to like 2023, that was one of the best moments, best periods of boxing because nobody was ducking smoke. So if we can get back to stuff like that, and a boxer can lose a couple 500,000, I'm all fine with that.
Any final points, fellas, or we're good?
I was gonna say then from 2020 to 2023, all I saw on boxing Twitter was this generation sucks. Everybody's ducking smoke. I saw a different narrative. They said Tank was ducking Loma and all types of stuff because PBC in-house fights.
Man, you talk about boxing Twitter, man. You asked them, man. Shit, Devin Haney, one of the worst fighters, in boxing history. Brian Norman, you know what I mean? Like, how it
Fair enough.
goes.
Fair enough. All right, fellas, great stuff. I hope that was enough to settle. So, judges, after
You're on mute. You're on mute. You're
I
on
can't
mute.
hear you.
There you
Gosh, thank you, brother. Judges, after that entire round is finished, right? Half of the round was the first topic, the other half of the round was the second. Scored as one long complete round. All three judges, send me your scorecard through message as soon as possible, please. Spit Bucket, what'd you think of that, man, while we're waiting for judges' scorecards?
I would say, without giving I'm not going to drop the names here. I think the determining factor was just a little bit more stamina. The winner had a little bit more stamina, in my opinion, to close out the debate when they needed it. You don't always predict. You can't always predict an overtime thriller, but you got to be ready for it. And I think I saw some stamina here. So yeah, I'm excited to see what the judges say.
Perfect. We've got 2 out of 3. We just need one more scorecard. We do have a winner already, but we just got to see the exact. We actually obviously it was tie broken. Okay, so 3. Let me just make sure I'm counting this right. All right, we go to the score totals. First judge for Breaking Bad Boxing scores about 48 to 47 for how boxing works. Jay Boogie scores about 48-47 for JMMA. And Vic scores about 49 to 46 for your winner by split decision. How boxing works, gets the job done by split decision. Great job from both of you. Tremendous match. JMMA, you did awesome, man.
Good stuff, Jay. You did good,
down
dog.
to the wire. And Jay, thank you so much for coming on objectively.
Billionaire, I got you, dog.
That's gonna be
That's
good.
how boxing works as well. Let me put. Actually, there's no judges in backstage. I think
I'm coming for that one. That's the finale.
Yeah, they sent it to me. That's what matters. Tremendous stuff from both of you guys. Before we get to how boxing works, JMMA, final thoughts, message after the match overall, and thank you so much for coming on as well, brother. Go ahead, brother.
I thought JJ summed it up perfectly. Boxing just had a little bit more. Just I got fired up towards the end because I was getting into it. But man, shout out to how boxing works, bro. I respect his work, especially what he's doing now with the Gotti situation. Gotti, was the boxer that got me into boxing. So I respect him. I respect boxing so much for everything he's doing in on boxing Twitter in the world right now.
Thanks,
much appreciated, Max, for having me on this platform, and JJ as well, brother. Shout out to you, man. You're doing it big over there, man. So appreciate everybody, man.
Appreciate it. Good job to you, dog. Hell of a
Jay,
job.
thank you so much for coming on, man. We basically met through this tournament because you reached out to me before we really knew each other were, and I appreciate having you on. It was great. You did a tremendous job, and I hope that this tournament was able to bring you some people, more people knowing who you are. Because right now we actually have me and Spit Bucket have over 400 live viewers concurrent on all our platforms. So I'm really glad that this is turning out very well. And Jay, you did a tremendous job. You really listen. How boxing works, knows his stuff. So the fact that you got it to a tiebreaker and got to a split decision shows that maybe you should be Jay Combat instead of JMMA because you know a lot about boxing.
Facts, baby. Don't forget about us, bro.
Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate it. We'll stay in touch, right, my friend?
Much love, y'all. Much love.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. How boxing works. You finally got to debate today, and to be fair, you got your time worth this time.
Hell yeah.
Rounds, split decision. You had to really dig deep for this one. You came on really strong. That's what won it for you because all three judges gave Jay round 1, and I was saying, wow, are we going to get Jay versus Billion? But you kept it going. You kept the pressure consistent.
I can't believe I lost that round.
Me neither.
Yeah, all three. That's the only
wow.
round all three judges gave to Jay was round 1. But you came on strong, and you dug deep, and you got the win. So what's your thoughts right now? And
I thought I had round 1 in the bag. I'm like, thank you for having me. Every time I see your setup, Spit Bucket, I'm like, I need to upgrade because
you're just dope too, bro. That's nice.
But thanks, Max. I appreciate it. I've been following you on X, man, since you were like a little kid. Like, and I gotta be completely honest, like a lot of where my platform, like it came from seeing stuff like you. You
Thank you.
were doing this way before I started doing this
Mhm.
on X. And yeah, you were a big inspiration, and I saw the success you had. I see the success of people like Ray Jackson, and that's kind of what inspired me to find my lane. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you
Of
guys for
course,
having
man.
me, and
Of
I'm looking
course.
forward to the next round with Billionaire.
Thank you so much for the compliments as well. And, I love seeing your stuff all the time. You're one of the few people in the space that really is grinding and working hard and really building the sport up, not just spreading negativity, but actually building it up
Right.
and really making an effort on your behalf to grow the sport. So thank you for the compliments. Thank you for hopping on. I'm excited to see you in the finals, and you did a tremendous job. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks,
Thanks.
man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Of
Good
course.
job,
I'll
dog.
talk to you soon for the finals. All right, Spit
Woo!
Bucket. Great stream, brother. What's your thoughts in the final match? What's your thoughts in the fight that we're getting between Billionaire and How Boxing Works? Just tell me the whole rundown now that we're
Yeah, so the thoughts on the match, I had it 3-1 for how boxing works initially. And I could see now, based on my notes, because I put round one being razor thin, and I put it almost depends on your definition of dominance. My definition of dominance aligns a little bit more, and this is where you got to kind of know your judges, aligns a little bit more with how boxing works. Because when you think of the points that Jay was making, great points, but they were almost more laser focused on like individual fights, while or just that individual. It just felt like how boxing works was painting a picture of a man who was dominating the whole sport, like a boogeyman. Like, I'm coming for the king of your division. Yeah, I may not have just beat every single person. I may have just come in and beat Canelo, the one guy, but he's dominating the king of the divisions. And then you can't ignore, again, definition of domination, like what he did with Spence and what he did with Canelo. I mean, some would argue wasn't close. Hold on, I got a couple other notes. Damn it, hold on. The open scoring, I actually gave round four to Jay, even though I agree with how boxing works. I agree, I would like to see open scoring, but Jay really, I think he hit some good buttons when he was talking about like encouraging coasting. I think when How Boxing Works brought up Turkey and the Shiraz moment, I think it kind of hurt his argument a little bit. But anyway, man, and then but the stamina in overtime, for me, How Boxing Works did it. I think he had JMMA a little. JMMA brought up the Inoue, well, you don't know his name, so it doesn't matter. So you're discrediting it. But then, at first, I don't think that's a valid argument in this argument, because how boxing works obviously knows the names. But then a little bit later, MMA goes and discredits Brian Norman's knockout in Japan. So I almost feel like he kind of discredited himself in that last round, or contradicted himself. So how boxing works, hell of a performance, boy. But next week, woo!
without giving away any type of prediction, I'll say this much: the match next week is going to be a real back and forth, because we see both of these guys come with facts, knowledge, they're concise, they stand their ground, and this is a matchup that I think is going to be really interesting. I think the judges are going to have their work cut out for them. I'm really excited for this one, and also it's going to be a 5-rounder instead of a 4-rounder.
Nice.
Quick pre prediction for that, so it's going to be a 5-rounder as well, and I'm really excited. A little quickly before we fully wrap this up, what did you think? Because we only went a couple minutes about Billionaire versus Jack Alter, that matchup, and just the two debates next side by side. What did you think overall?
Preparation, man. Preparation. I was worried a little bit because we were out on Friday, we were out Saturday, and I saw Billionaire out there. I don't know. I don't think Jack came to the fight. But Billionaire's preparation, Jack's lack of preparation. Like not having a lot of the data that he was bringing up, and then Jack was basing a lot of his stuff off emotions. And like I said, I do agree with a lot of the sentiment that Jack was bringing up. But you have to figure out a way to articulate it in a debate. You have to convince people. Maybe judges come into to it not agreeing with you. You have to really articulate it better instead of just hoping that they feel the same emotions you do. So I thought Billionaire was just all class and showed his toolbox, man. He has a great toolbox.
Perfect. Yeah, this was a great stream. It was really entertaining. I'm really glad that you were here. We'll have you for the finals as well. That's the plan. I'm going to reach out to all the contestants and make sure we have a set date, but I'm going to get back to everyone very soon. Expect it to be ideally next Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, November 16th.
Go.
That's the plan. If anything comes up, we'll make sure to navigate around that, but stay tuned for the finals. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. I appreciate everyone. We had 2 tremendous debates. JJ, once again, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you,
on
man.
as
Thanks
well.
for having me.
It was really great having you as well to break down these fights and to help me out overall. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. And guys, make sure to check out the final match, which is coming up. We got How Boxing Works versus Billionaire Boxing. Both men undefeated, taking each other on for all the glory. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. God bless. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Hold up. Let's see.